Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to tell them the Bro Country Podcast sent you in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Welcome back to the Bro Country Podcast. My name is Joey, and as always, I am joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris here. What's going on over there tonight, Joey?
Not much, man. Just been cutting the grass, buying some Randall King tickets, enjoying this weekday evening that we're recording on, man. What about yourself?
Yep, absolutely, man. It's this. I'm looking at our outline here, and at first it didn't seem like there was much going on in country music this week, but there is a ton of stuff going on in country music.
There really is, and we had kind of a quick turnaround because we're recording midweek this week, so this is actually Wednesday that we're recording. The episode will drop on Friday, of course, but
yep.
I didn't think we'd have much to talk about in the news out of Nashville, but then when I did some research, I'm like, all right, there's some stuff popping off out of Nashville this week.
Yep, sure is.
I think we should just go ahead and get into it. News out of Nashville time. The first thing I want to talk about is that new Thomas Rhett single, Country Again.
Yeah, you're loving this, right?
Dude, I'm loving it. I am loving it. I'm not going to lie. It's the title track off the new double album, which we talked about that a little bit last week. But, man, it back to his roots. Just sounds like traditional Thomas Rhett, and I couldn't be more stoked for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was one of the ones that he had performed early on in quarantine acoustically. And it's a pretty stripped down for today's country. I mean, it's a pretty country-sounding song.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard that yet, go check it out. And then Luke Bryan tested positive for COVID, so he had to sit out for American Idol. That was a fun fact because I saw this like clickbait article, and it was like Paula Abdul to replace Luke Bryan on American Idol. And I was like, oh crap, is he done with it? And she's coming back after like 10 years away or something. But I guess it was just in his absence with having COVID. But
yeah, just a one-time thing, I think.
I was like, yeah, that clickbait article made me click on it and read it. But
that's right, it got you.
Yeah. But yeah, from what I heard, or what I read, Luke's doing okay. No real bad symptoms or anything like that, so that's great. Jimmy Allen was announced as Best New Male Artist for the ACM Awards that are coming up on the 18th. And then Gabby Barrett was announced as Best New Female Artist at the ACM Awards.
Yep, we got Gabby, but neither one of us got Jimmy.
No, I did. Well, we knew it could have went either way in that category, but I did not think Jimmy was going to get it, but good for them, man.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's awesome. And then Hardy just announced a show about, 25 minutes from my house in Franklin, Ohio.
Yeah, what is it, JD Legends?
Yeah, they're cranking out some scheduling for the summer.
Yeah, they've got, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 different shows on the schedule right now.
Yeah, so if you're not too far from Ohio, Hardy's doing a show at JD Legends in Franklin, Ohio, June 11th. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yep.
Brad Paisley's doing a 2021 tour with Jimmy Allen and Cameron Marlowe.
Yeah, I had not seen this. What'd you hear about it?
I saw it on actually Jimmy's Instagram. He made a post about it. And he was like something like...
Do you know if they're coming to Riverbend?
I couldn't find any dates. I didn't even see anything on Brad's Instagram about it.
Huh.
So I hope I'm not delivering fake news here, but
yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll report back to you on that. But so that should be pretty interesting. Cameron Marlowe, he's pretty good. Have you heard him much?
Yeah, he's. I heard him cover early on. Was I think a couple Luke songs, and I like it. I mean, I haven't dove deep into his music, but I like his stuff.
Yeah, his one that's really big right now is "Sober as a Drunk." That's a really good song. I follow him on Instagram and stuff, and he had made a post, and it was like he made Amazon's Hot New Country playlist or one of those really big playlists, and he made a post. He was like, "I guess I don't have to go back to selling auto parts now."
I think he's like 23, 24. He's young. He's a youngster.
Yeah, he is pretty young, man. So good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Tim McGraw is dropping the Here on Earth Ultimate Edition on April 16th, which is when you guys will be hearing this episode. So by the time you hear this episode, that it will already have dropped. But that's pretty cool. Didn't really love the Here on Earth album. It was okay, but it wasn't your traditional McGraw. So
Yeah, I agree. But have you heard the track that he released this week? God Moves the Pen.
yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty traditional McGraw.
That
I mean,
one
at this point, Tim needs to. I mean, when Tim does it right, it's about as good as you can get. But there, he tries some different stuff, and it usually doesn't work very well. But when he does what Tim does best, it's hard to beat.
Oh yeah, what was that one track off the album, like Chevy in Space or something like that?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
I don't know if that's the exact title, but I was like, what in the world is he doing?
That's funny, man.
He definitely is not afraid to take risks.
No, he's not.
And he really never has been, honestly.
Yeah.
But good for him. He's dropping some new music, so if you're McGraw fans, go check that out. Clay Walker announced a new album that's dropping on July 30th. 10 tracks. It's going to be titled Texas to Tennessee, and he co-wrote on all 10 of the tracks.
He's got a radio single right now that's in the top 60. It's the first song that he's had on radio actually reach the chart in like 9 or 10 years. But gotta love some Clay Walker.
Oh yeah, that's Need a Bar Sometimes, right? That's one you're talking about?
Yep, so good.
That is a good one, man. He's actually like crushing the social media game too. I don't know if you ever see his TikToks or anything, but he's got a huge following over there. I mean, people blow his stuff up, and like you see people tagging him and stuff on TikTok all the time, and he responds to the fans, and I'm like, he's really working that TikTok algorithm.
That's cool, man.
Speaking of TikTok, go follow us at Bro Country Pod.
That's right.
We post some fun stuff on there, but we're not as cool as Clay Walker, so
Almost.
we'll get there one day, right?
That's right.
But yeah, that, and then kind of the real big news that came out was Morgan Wallen made a statement.
Yep.
So that was pretty interesting. Just to summarize, he posted on his social media, it was like 4 pictures, and it was like a handwritten letter to his fans. Basically just saying, thank you for standing in my corner when my corner hasn't been the easiest to stand in. I'm still working on myself. I've done a lot of reflecting the last couple months, and I still need to do some reflecting to grow as a person. So he's not doing any summer shows, and he's not going to be on the Luke Bryan tour this summer.
Oof.
So that is a huge bummer for people that bought tickets, especially for people that bought tickets just to see Morgan.
Yeah. Oof.
Because I almost bought tickets a few months before everything went crazy with what all he's going through right now, and the resale tickets on StubHub were like, dude, it was going to be like $600, I think, for 2 lawn seats, and I was like, no way.
I mean, I checked earlier today, and they were still, I'm sure they're going to drop quick, but they were still high as of today. I mean, if the tour goes on, Luke is going to have to find another opener. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of upset people about that, I'm sure, but he did kind of end it on, I'll be back sooner than later, and I'll give you guys the shows you deserve, and thank the fans for really pumping up the Dangerous album, and just kind of talked about the record that it hit and all that good stuff. So
yeah,
good for him. He's reflecting as a person. Sounds like he's working on himself, and I couldn't be happier for Morgan, because that's what we all want to strive for, is growing as a person, and hopefully he can come back stronger from all this and keep cranking out some good music.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But yeah, so that's all the news I got, man. You had some stuff you wanted to talk about as far as some of the ACM performances that were announced in the charts, so why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, I mean, the list came out for the ACM performances, and I think they're doing it similar to how they did it last year. I think they're using the Bluebird, the Ryman, and the Opry, all 3 again. And this week is a huge week in country music. You got Eric with new music coming up. You got Thomas Rhett with new music coming out. You've got Alan Jackson with new music coming out. So they've got, Alan's going to perform. And, they usually bring a couple legacy acts like that back. And Alan, I mean, you can't get any better than Alan Jackson. So the 3 new tracks are incredible that Alan came out with last week. Yeah. And, Eric's going to perform. Eric, as you and I have talked a lot, has released a ton of music from this. But the song that Eric is going to perform, Bunch of Nothing.
I haven't heard it.
And Luke is going to perform Forever After All. I mean, it's flying up the charts, obviously. there's always some really good performances. Kelsey and Kenny are going to perform Half of My Hometown, which that might be one of my 2 or 3 favorite singles at radio right now. So I'm super excited for that performance.
Yeah, man, that'll be interesting to see. It's always good to see these people, on these award shows and the performances you get to see. And I'll give these award shows some slack since Eric won a CMA for Entertainer of the Year. So
that's right.
I was anti-award show until then. So.
And Stapleton is going to perform Maggie's song, which is that's a tearjerker, especially for any animal lover or any dog lover.
I was gonna say anybody that owns a dog, you might just want to take a bathroom break during that part.
for sure, man.
Good song though.
It is a good song.
Good storytelling song, man. That's what Stapleton does best.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what did the charts look like this past week? Any updates since we last recorded, really?
Well, I mean, the number 1 song on radio is "The Good Ones" by Gabby. So, I mean, we've talked a lot about Gabby, and she's going to perform "The Good Ones" at the ACMs, and she's already won Best New Female Artist. So, she's wherever she goes next. I'm curious to see what the next single is going to be, because to come out of the gate with these 2 singles is pretty impressive.
Yeah, we've talked about Gabby a lot, but she's crushing it, man. The industry's behind her, and I can't wait to see what's next. I think I said that last week, but
yeah.
She, I've been following her for a while, and it's cool to see the career of these people flourish right before your eyes and see what happens next. So couldn't be happier for Gabby Barrett.
Absolutely, man.
But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and tell the listeners what we're going to be talking about tonight. We actually have a special guest coming on for an interview. He is an up-and-coming country artist and songwriter, so we'll go ahead and bring him on the show, and we will be right back with you guys in just a moment. Welcome back to the Bro Country Podcast. We are now joined by our guest tonight, who is a singer-songwriter out of Solvang, California. Throughout high school, he performed at weddings, bars, restaurants, and wineries. He then attended UCLA, where he was a walk-on football player for the Bruins. He graduated in 2019 and moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 2020. Guys, our guest tonight is Bear Redell. Hey, Bear, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely a pleasure. So, Chris and I, we've been listening to your tracks you've got uploaded on all the streaming platforms, man. We're huge fans.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got a couple tracks on Spotify. Just a couple. I took down everything else, but...
Yeah. Well, and you've got a bunch of covers and songs on your social media we've been checking out, too. So we've been trying to keep up with you, so that's awesome. But
oh, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man. So tell us your story, man. How did you start playing music? What made you want to pursue a career in country music?
I've always been musical as a kid. I started out when I was about 6, in different plays. I was very theatrical as a kid, did all the different talent shows. And then I just kind of branched out and started playing cover songs, and people started tipping me for that. And I was like, wow, I can actually make money playing cover songs and other people's songs. And so throughout high school, I did that to just make, whatever money I spent on food and beer, whatever I was buying. And then I'm, in college, I just did private events where I'd play for weddings and wineries and birthday parties and backyards. And I'd bring my whole PA system to some 6-year-old birthday party in the backyard, just to make whatever, $100 or something. And then, halfway through that, I was like, I really been listening to a lot of country music, and my parents raised me on country music, and I love storytelling and songwriting. So I started to do that. And I knew halfway through college, I wanted to move to Nashville and pursue some kind of career, get better at it, kind of hone my craft. And that's what I'm doing now.
That's awesome, man. So how was it playing football, playing music, and going to school? How was it? How crazy was it trying to juggle all that?
It was super hard to juggle all of it, especially because, I was a walk-on football player at UCLA, and that was I don't know, it was really eye-opening because I was the smallest dude on the team. I was like Rudy, so I was getting pounded every play, just into the dirt, just whatever. So I'm like, I don't have a future in this. I'm gonna pursue something else. And so I've always been passionate about football and school and music, but I knew music's always been there since I was a kid. So I decided to just focus on one thing, and I decided to move to Music City and just focus on that the whole time.
Bear, had you ever been to Nashville before you moved to Nashville?
Nope.
Oh, that's man, awesome!
From California to Nashville, I bet that was
blind.
A wild trip.
It was a wild trip. I did one family trip like 6 months. I already like committed to like I'm moving there, but I didn't. I've never moved there. I just knew that I wanted to go there and spend time there. But we did like one family trip like 2 or 3 months before I moved there,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it was like crazy, going on Broadway, and I was like, I'm in love with the city. And then I
Yeah.
moved to town, and then the whole world shuts down, and then
Oh
there's like a
man.
tornado and like
Yeah.
the
When
craziest
when
stuff
did you move
happening.
to town?
January 1st of 2020. So I had like two
Oh
months
my
of
goodness.
kind of normalcy, and then tornado hit, and then COVID hit, and then we had the riots, and then we had the bombings, and just protest. It was just crazy, man. It's just a crazy year in general.
Yeah, it sure has been, hasn't it?
Gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. So tell us, who are some of your biggest musical influences?
So I started out listening to Ed Sheeran and John Mayer. I was kind of more like singer songwriter stuff,
Mm.
and then uh, now I really like Luke Combs right now and Eric Church, Chris Stapleton. Um, I'm really into songwriting. So, but my all time favorite is definitely Tom Petty.
Nice.
There you
I
go.
saw his last concert in the Hollywood Bowl a week before he died.
Oh,
Oh wow, man.
So
that's awesome that you're able to
undeniably
see.
is my favorite artist. And just have a lot of respect for him. But going into my song, I obviously two of my favorites are Johnny Cash and Eric Church, and uh, those two are probably my favorite right now. Just as in country music, they're Johnny Cash is a legend, but Eric Church is kind of a newer legend for younger people. So
Just kind of as a side note, what's the Hollywood Bowl like as a venue?
it's amazing. It's probably one of my dream venues to play at. I have it above my bed. I have like a poster of it just because I saw his last concert there, and I saw my first concert there, and or my first concert I ever saw as a kid was Jason Mraz at the Hollywood Bowl. So I have a
Nice.
lot of like meaning to that whole that venue, and seeing
Yeah.
Tom Petty there a week before he died, it just I kind of it's a meaningful place for me to be. But it's so cool, just right there on that hill, and I just there's like a cross on the hill. It's kind of cool. I just love everything about that venue.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
I was gonna say Joey and I have probably been to 500 concerts between us, but we've never been there.
No,
So
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
it's on the
yeah,
bucket list though. I definitely want to see a show there.
yeah.
But it's funny you say you made a statement that Eric Church is kind of like a newer legend because you've got your current single Church and Cash, and then you've got Thomas Rhett who just dropped his current single Country Again, references Eric Church. Morgan Wallen's got a song on his double album. I think it's 865 or one of those. I can't remember the exact song, but he
No, that's it.
references
Yeah,
it. Yeah, he references Phone Face Down, Church Up Loud. I'm like, it's so cool seeing all these newer generational artists just referencing Chief because uh, Chris and I are just, and our listeners are probably tired of us talking about it, but we love Eric Church. He's probably like our top two, top three guys. So it's just really cool to see that happening.
he's phenomenal. His lyrics, and the thing about him that I love is he can be commercial and appeal to like radio audiences, but also have the most profound lyrics in anything he writes, and everything he writes about is just amazing. He's just a writer too, but he's also an artist. Like I can go on and on about him. I honestly listen to him more than anyone right now. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with that new triple album about to drop.
I know this Friday.
Yeah, well, my white vinyls shipped yesterday, so I'm stoked.
Oh, awesome! That's
but
awesome.
but yeah, man. So let's talk a little bit about the current single. As I mentioned, it's Church and Cash. To the listeners, if you guys haven't heard it yet, go check it out. It's awesome. It is an awesome song. What was the creative process like when you wrote that song?
It started out as kind of a cheesy song. I had the lyric, a whole lot of church and a little bit of cash, and I wrote it maybe 15 different times. Started off as like this hard rock song, and I thought it was kind of cool, but it was really cheesy, and I didn't have any song titles, and it was just referencing a little bit of Eric Church, a little bit of Johnny Cash, and I met this writer from California who recently moved to Nashville around July of last year, and his name's Stephen Ray, and I showed him like my idea, and he's like, we should make this a little more of like a thoughtful song, like with simpler chords, and the lyrics that kind of stand out because that's what Eric Church does. You can hear all his lyrics; and they're very thought out. It's not some like rock ballad.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started just messing around with the idea. It's like, what if we put a bunch of like song titles with Eric Church and also Johnny Cash and told a story. And we just kind of wrote the lyrics out of that chorus. And it started out as kind of a joke. And then consistent, like after that, like it consistently was like, oh, this is actually kind of just kind of working out. It sounds kind of good. It's catchy and it could actually work. And then we probably wrote the song in about an hour. And then, we kind of sat on it a couple of days and we're like, man, this actually sounds pretty good. We should record it. And a buddy of mine reached out to me because I posted some kind of Instagram post of me playing the song after I wrote it. And some guy messaged me saying, hey, I really like that song. I'd love to pay for you to do a studio recording of that. And so
oh, wow,
I was lucky enough.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was just amazing for someone to do that. And I was fortunate enough to record in, it's called Omni. I think it's called Omni Studios. It's in Midtown, right next to Red Door. But I walked into that studio super naive, and I've never, I'm in the midst of COVID, so I haven't met any Nashville like recording musicians or anything. So I was like going in thinking like I don't even know what to expect, and I literally just wrote this song. So, and when I got in there, there was world-class musicians with my whole song charted out, and they played the song better than I even wrote it, like instrumentally. I was like, oh wow, like we got a piano player, we got a guitarist, and a drummer that knows the song better than I do right now. And anyway, we probably recorded in an hour, and then I cut vocals another day, and then he sent it back to me, and I'm super happy with how it turned out.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So I know you mentioned that you had, referenced some Johnny Cash, Eric Church song titles, and, obviously the listeners that have heard that song know that. But how many references are there in total, do you know?
There's 17 song titles, and I think I think there's more Eric Church songs than Johnny Cash, to be exact. I'm trying to think of how many. But, I'd have to count through it again. I just know there's 17 total.
I tried to keep track, man, but I lost count. I was like, 1, 2, 3.
Now we're going to have to go back and try to find all 17.
Right. For sure. That makes it fun, though. But awesome, man. So speaking of the single, we've talked about it enough. Let's go ahead and play it for the listeners and let them get a little taste of what this song's about.
Cool. Thanks.
Call me a highwayman. Said I was traveling faster than those cars at Talladega. So you took off and called it a breaker. Said God's gonna cut me down, but I thought that he'd come around if I prayed and paid it all back. Guess I need a little church and cash. We were walking that line at a ring of fire burning, hurting real bad every Sunday morning. Coming downtown, never getting tired of that round here bus. Playing Springsteen on the jukebox. Since you left, all I got is a drink in my hand and a memory of you creeping in my head. On the knee by the time I close my tab. A whole lot of church and a little bit of cash. Yes, a whole lot of church and a little bit of cash.
All right, guys, and there you have it. That's a little clip of Church and Cash by Bear Redell. Go check that song out. It's streaming on Spotify and I believe all major streaming platforms, right, Bear?
Yes, yeah, everything.
Awesome.
That's cool, man. Obviously, you're just getting started. You got everything ahead of you. But so far, what do you think your favorite musical moment of what you've been doing so far? What sticks out to you?
My favorite moment has definitely been when I played at the Bluebird. A writer in town named Marv Green, who's written some of my favorite country songs, including Eric Church and George Strait. His name's Marv Green. He invited me to play at the Bluebird, and I opened for him and Leslie Satcher and Tony Arata, who wrote the dance for Garth Brooks.
Oh man, yeah, and, that's a legendary name right there.
A legend name, and that name means a lot to me, and that song means a lot to me because my parents love Garth Brooks and they love that song, so they showed that to me when I was growing up, and I've always been a huge fan of the dance. That's been like one of my favorite songs, and anyway, I played my song, and I, had my guitar. I played Church and Cash, and then I sat down and watched the rest of the show. And before Tony Arata plays the dance, his guitar broke. Like literally, the neck kind of snapped, and he got all like heartbroken, and he's just kind of feeling bad. And he looked around. He's like, "Hey, Bear, can I borrow your guitar?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." I've never met this guy at all, and he's kind of a celebrity to me, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, "Yeah, for sure, dude. You can borrow my childhood guitar." And I hand it to him, and he tunes it up a little bit, and then he proceeds to play the dance in the Bluebird. That's where Garth Brooks first heard it
Yep.
on my childhood guitar, and I'm just kind of sitting there like a little teary eyed. I'm like, where am I right now? This is so cool. And anyway, he at the end of it, like he played it amazingly, obviously. But at the end of it, it's just like, wow, that was it's a really nice guitar. And he told me afterwards the show, it's like, you have a huge future in this town, and those words mean a lot from him. And that's definitely been the coolest moment of Nashville in my whole musical career, just hearing that from him, and all the meaning behind it with my family and my parents who showed me that song and how much that song means to me. Just playing on that guitar is really cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's something you'll never forget, man. That's so cool.
Never. Yeah.
But yeah, that is great. But I know we kind of already touched on this because you just moved to Nashville last year when the world went absolutely crazy. So
Yeah.
how do you get creative, man, to kind of put yourself out there, to put your new music out there during the pandemic and everything else going on?
I always try to write. I'm always playing on Broadway just to make money right now, but in the other time, I'm always writing something. It might not be very good, but there's an Ed Sheeran quote that I watched a bunch of his documentaries, and he said that a lot of it's you got to get rid of all the dirty water. Songwriting is like a faucet, and you got to get rid of all the dirty water coming out, and then you start clean water comes out. So I think I've written like hundreds of songs, quote unquote, but there's only like a couple that I think I actually share with people that are actually like I would say decent or good or like but I've written really cliche stuff, and but I moved to Nashville to get better at it, and I want to be around people that know what they're doing, and so that's I've just been trying to stay creative as much as possible, if you want to call it creative.
Yeah, most
Absolutely,
definitely.
man. What's your? You said you're playing on Broadway. What are some of the bars there that you get to play in?
I started out with the Tootsie Circuit, which includes Rippies, Honky Tonk Central, and Kid Rock's. But right now I'm playing at Jason Aldean's, Florida Georgia Line, and Luke Bryant's. Great venues, and really lucky if I can make money doing it. Get to play with one of my best friends too, and just do a bunch of cover songs that we like. So it's awesome.
Heck yeah, I was just in Nashville last month. I didn't tell you this. I live in Ohio, man, and my wife and I went down to Nashville
Oh,
and went to Luke's 32 Bridge, and we saw some up and coming artists, man. That is a great venue, truly.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, when we went to Aldean's last year, when we went to, or was that last year? Gosh, the world is so crazy and time runs together for me, but I think it was
Right.
last year or the year before we went to Aldean's, and that's another solid venue too. So that's awesome. So we've talked about your musical career, right? So what are some things other than music that you like to do for fun?
Uh, I love movies. I love going to bars. I'm big into like draft beers and going to bars with my friends right now. Like there's a lot
Nice,
of places around Nashville I go to, and um, obviously live music's my favorite thing. I'm really into football. I'm a huge Vikings fan. Um,
nice,
I don't play it anymore, but I try to. I watch it every Sunday, and I watch college football too. Uh,
sweet.
that's pretty much it. I'm pretty simple. I'm telling you
What?
now.
Who are your teams?
I'm for college, UCLA because I went there, and then I'm a Vikings fan, Minnesota Vikings for pro.
Yeah, I was gonna ask your college team, but then I was like, it's probably pretty obvious. I
Yeah,
didn't want
Yeah,
to ask, but
we've had some rough seasons, but I got to
not
stay
in
loyal.
basketball this year though.
I know that was crazy.
that
It
was
was
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
What position did you play in football?
In high school, I actually have a funny story about this. In high school, I was a quarterback, and I was all right. My brother's a quarterback, and he's in high school. He's way better than I ever was, but I was a quarterback at UCLA, probably like fifth or sixth string, and day one there, my first day at practice, that's when Josh Rosen was on the team. He was a starting quarterback. I
Hmm.
snapped it to Rosen, and because I thought he said hike, and I hit him in the face, and so
Oh gosh.
yeah, right. The Coach Mora demoted me to linebacker. He's like, go to linebacker. So I ran over to linebacker, and my whole world just changed, because I was wearing a yellow jersey as quarterback, just never getting hit, and just doing high knees, and then throwing the ball around for a couple hours and studying the playbook to literally being a tackling dummy for 4 hours every day.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
it's
huge
crazy.
difference. I mean, I played football growing up just through high school, nothing, no collegiate sports or anything, but that's a very big change to go from quarterback to linebacker.
Yeah,
I couldn't
it was
imagine at
eye
that
opening.
level. That's awesome. That's a funny story, but cool, man. So, you moved to Nashville. You're chasing this career in country music. Tell us, what would you be doing if you weren't pursuing this dream of being a country star?
What? I'm realistic with everything. I obviously have my dreams, and my passion is to be the guy on stage singing the songs I wrote. But in at whatever capacity, I know that music's definitely what I want to do in life. Whether it's writing it, or I don't know, composing it, or managing an artist. Like, I just know that I'm passionate about it. I find myself surrounded by it, and I know that I'm never moving away from Nashville. It's my home, so. That's literally, I know music's definitely my career in whatever capacity, but I really do think I have some kind of chance with, I might not be the guy selling out the bridge still, but I do think I can make a living off music, and I'll be happy and content with my life. Whatever. I already think, I've exceeded so many more of, like, I never thought I'd be this far in life making it, making money. So I'm just, every step forward is just another blessing, and I'm fortunate to be there.
That's
Yeah,
that's an awesome attitude, man. I mean,
yeah.
that's.
I was gonna say that too, man.
I mean, you look at like the artist that you mentioned as your favorite. I mean, you look at somebody like Stapleton. I mean, Stapleton was 37 years old before he played the Bridgestone, and
Yeah,
you got Church that moved to town to just be a writer, and then somehow all the stars aligned, and he ends up as the
uh,
Eric Church we know now. I mean, crazy things happen. You just have to you just have to keep going.
for sure. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
Just keep grinding, man. You've got the right attitude and the right mindset. We
yeah,
both
for
know big
sure.
things are coming your way, man. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, you got the single. What's next music wise for you, man? You got any projects coming up or any music that you can tell us about that's coming out soon?
I'll probably release new music in the fall. I think right now I'm still focusing on my. Kind of want to hold on to this Church of Cash for a couple more months. I think I'm gonna put out a music video pretty soon. That might give it a little more traction. I just want to, like, do it right and give both artists credit. It's a play on words, and it's a breakup song, and the whole meaning is, like, you're drinking away your breakup, and at the end of the day, you need forgiveness to uh, uh, you know for your heartbreak, and the fact that you've been drinking a lot, and you need to pay the tab with the cash. But it's subtly referencing, like, how music is always there to help you through any situation. And I mean, it's kind of a deeper level to it, if you're just listening to it first time. But um, that's what it means to me. And those two artists have helped me through everything, especially Eric Church. And record year, whatever breakup I've gone through, that song means so much to me. And it's helped me so much. Like, I've so much more of appreciation and love for music because of any kind of heartbreak that I've had. Where it's like, I love the line where he's like, if you find your way back, I owe you a beer for my record year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of how I feel about it too. So
Yeah.
I think I should just hold on to this single for a couple more. I don't know, a couple more months. I just think it just deserves a little more exposure because I really believe in it. And if not, I got so many songs recorded. I just don't know when to release them. I kind of want to be. I want quality over uh, quantity.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want to just put out songs that people aren't really listening to. I really think Church and Cash deserves the credit and more exposure. So
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. I think it's a great song, and I think it definitely has a huge potential to take off for you, man. I can't wait to see it happen.
no, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's all the questions we really got, man. You got any final words for any of your fans that are tuning in tonight, or any of our listeners from the show that might come check your music out or hit you up on social media?
Yeah, I thank you guys for having me. I appreciate anyone that tuned in. I play regularly Wednesday through Sunday on Broadway. If you follow me on Instagram, You can come to one of my shows. I play predominantly just cover songs, but I'll throw in a couple originals every now and then. But I'm just looking forward to COVID being over and start playing some shows where I'm actually playing a little more originals than covers. Yeah.
Most definitely, man. Well, guys, go check him out on social media. His Instagram and TikTok is at Bear Redell. Make sure you go give him a follow, hit him up, say hey, let him know what you think of the music. While you're at it, you can check our social media out. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. Just search Bro Country Pod. You'll find us everywhere, as well as we are streaming on all major platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it. We're out there, so go check us out. But yeah, Bear, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been a real pleasure getting to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we'll have to circle back around here once things take off for you, and we can kick back and chat about where you're at now. So that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I would love that.
Absolutely, man. So thanks again, man, for coming on. Guys, as always, keep it country and take care of each other.
Call me a highwayman. Said I was driving faster than those cars at Talladega. So you took off and called it a breaker. Said God's gonna cut me down, but I thought that he'd come around if I prayed and paid it all back. Guess I need a little church and cash. We were walking that line at a ring of fire burning, hurting real bad every Sunday morning. Coming downtown, never getting tired of that round here bus. Playing Springsteen on the jukebox. Since you left, all I got is a drink in my hand and a memory of you creeping in my head. On a knee by the time I close my tab. A whole lot of church and a little bit of chaos. Yes, a whole lot of church and a little bit of cash. Now I've been lonesome, like a prisoner in Folsom, trying to break free out of these bars. Yeah, girl, it's been hell on the heart. We were walking that line at a ring of fire burning, hurting real bad every Sunday morning. Coming downtown, never getting tired of that round here bus. Playing Springsteen on the jukebox. Since you left, all I got is a drink in my hand and a memory of you creeping in my head. On a knee by the time I close my tab. A whole lot of church and a little bit of cash. You might call me a desperate man. Sinners like me doing the best we can. We were walking that line at a ring of fire burning, hurting real bad every Sunday morning. Coming downtown, never getting tired of that round here bus. Springsteen on the jukebox. Since you left, all I got is a drink in my hand and a memory of you creeping in my head. All I need by the time I close my tab. A whole lot of church and a little bit of cash. Cash. A whole lot of church and a little bit of cash. Hey. Yes, a whole lot of church and a little bit of cash. Oh, I misunderstood that you never come back. I'm just a man in black.